Ciao tutti, buongiorno. Hello everyone, I'm Chef Jan. Are you ready to cook like an Italian? Well, if you are, you know there's a couple of things that are going to happen in your kitchen. First of all, everyone's going to gather because it's the happiest place on earth. Number two, you're going to cook way too much food. People are going to beg you to stop and you're going to keep feeding them. And the third thing that's going to happen is you are going to complain about how much you've eaten while you're preparing your next meal. Am I right? Okay, so today we are doing a soup that is so popular in Italy. It's called Italian wedding soup. Actually, it's more popular in the United States because it's not really served at Italian weddings at all. It's called something from cucina povera, which is a poor kitchen. It's a poor man's soup, and you kind of throw everything that you've got into the pot from the refrigerator. And then as it became more Americanized, we added some things to it. So I want to thank my sponsors, first of all, for making this show happen. Queen Creek Olive Mill in Arizona, in Queen Creek, Arizona. They have 12,000 acres, thousands and thousands of trees, 16 different varieties of olives, and their olive oil has just won an award, their estate olive oil. So you can find all of their products online at queencreekoliveoil.com. And I also want to thank the Arizona Farm Bureau. All of this goodness that you see here today comes from the soil, and Arizona is an amazing place for produce year-round because we have 300 days of sunshine, and that means a lot of beautiful fruits and vegetables coming up from the earth. So we're going to start today with a nice hot pot. I'm going to add some olive oil, and what I want to do is get my veggies sauteed nice and soft. So here goes a nice sweet yellow onion. Now you don't want to burn, ever, you don't want to burn your onions or your garlic. So I'm going to just turn this down a little bit. I want to get them nice and maybe not caramelized, but softened to get that sweetness out. Now we're going to add some carrot. And I want you to notice how I've chopped these carrots and the celery and the onion very, very fine. You want a fine dice. You don't ever want to have a mouthful of a big piece of carrot or a big piece of onion. So I'm just cutting those up nice and small. The next thing that I'm going to add is some white wine. You can't cook a soup without the wine, right? You can't do anything without the wine in an Italian kitchen. So this is just going to take about 5 minutes. And while this is softening, I'm going to actually throw in some orzo pastina here. Orzo pasta is just a lovely, lovely pasta that holds up to a lot of cooking. Fantastic. Boy, that smells so good already. Now here comes the American version. We're adding a little bit of dill. And then what happens with the dill is it just brings out the flavor of all of the other ingredients. You don't need a lot. I would say maybe just a nice tablespoon of dill. And it just, it incorporates all those great flavors, and it's got a little bit of something special in there. Now, chicken broth. So I'm using 2 quarts of chicken broth. If you don't have chicken broth that you've made from scratch, or you don't have the containers like this, one of the things that I absolutely love is a product called Better Than Bouillon. You can find it anywhere now, and it comes in chicken stock, beef stock, vegetable, lobster, veal. So we're just going to now let this just cook down. This is going to be fantastic. Italian wedding soup, never served at an Italian wedding, go figure. Okay, so now I'm going to turn that heat up, put the lid on, and we're just going to let that simmer away. as we make our meatballs. You're going to need little meatballs to go into the Italian wedding soup. And little meatballs are called polpette. Polpette, little tiny meatballs. So here we go. I've started with, we're using chicken today. So we've got chicken sausage and ground chicken and some breadcrumbs that I've already put in the bowl. Now I'm going to add some pecorino romano. Pecorino Romano is going to give you a little bit more of a bite, a little bit more peppery than a Parmesan, and it just adds so much flavor. And then I'm going to also add some Parmigiana Reggiano, some good Parmesan cheese in that. Next goes a little bit of milk, and I'm going to tell you why I'm using milk. It was a big discovery that I made a few years ago. When you add a little bit of water or a little bit of milk to your meatballs, it makes it so moist and delicious. So don't hesitate to add a little bit of milk or water in your meatballs. Now I'm going to use an egg, one nice egg. I'm going to add some parsley, fresh parsley right from our Arizona farm soil, and some garlic. You got to have garlic, just a little bit of garlic, and then some fresh ground pepper and some salt. I'm going to go in with my hands. They're nice and clean, and that way I get the feel of just mixing it just enough. The thing is, when you're mixing meatballs, you don't want to over mix because then they're going to get a little bit tough. But this is why you want to add a little bit of milk or water. Believe it or not, it's going to make those meatballs so incredibly moist. Now I've got some parchment paper and a sheet pan right here. So although Italians love big gigantic meatballs, I know I do, you're going to make little tiny ones because these are going to go in the soup. We're going to cook them first in the oven, 400 degrees for maybe about 10 minutes. Okay, this looks good. I'm just making sure that I've incorporated everything but not over mixing. It's really, really an important tip for you. There. Okay, that's looking really good. I just want to mix that chicken sausage in there just a little bit. Lots of great flavors. Of course, you can use beef, you can use turkey, you can use whatever you like, but this just makes a nice light soup. Okay, that's too big. That's too big. So we want tiny little meatballs. I'm going to put those right there. And I've got my oven nice and hot. You know, I'm amazed at how many people love soup year-round. Now, I'm from Arizona where, as you've heard, it can get pretty hot. 116, 117 degrees in the summer, no big deal, right? But people love soup even in the summer. It's just one of those light meals that just goes down so well. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and finish making these little polpette, these little meatballs. We'll put them in the oven, and I will be right back to check on my soup. The meatballs are out of the oven and they look beautiful. They didn't shrink too much at all because I'm using chicken, ground chicken and ground chicken sausage. So those look great. Let's check the soup. Ooh boy, that looks amazing. The orzo is getting nice and soft. Now what I'm going to do is add a whole bunch of spinach to this, and as you know, when you cook spinach, it cooks down to nothing. You're going to need about 12 ounces of spinach for this soup, and just move that around, and you know what? That looks fantastic. And now the last thing to do is just put those meatballs right in there. Again, there's so many things that you can add to your Italian wedding soup. As I mentioned, it comes from the cucina povera, which is the poor man's kitchen, and I find that a lot in an Italian cooking. It's peasant food. That's what makes it delicious, simple, yummy, flavorful, generally from the soil. Oh my goodness, this is going to be so good. This is truly Italian comfort food. Look at that. So I'm just going to warm those meatballs right back up. That looks so, so good. Everything is in the pot, ready to go. I'm gonna get my bowl. Okay, here we go. I don't like the spinach cooked down too much. I really like to see that spinach. Oh my goodness, look at this. Get some broth in there. Italian wedding soup, never served at an Italian wedding, but you know what, it's okay because we can have this every single day of the year using the beautiful Queen Creek olive oil, estate olive oil, the award winner. I just want to put a little bit of that on top just to give it more flavor. I'm going to add a tiny bit more of this dill, just a bit, and then I don't know if you remember my mama's cheese grater. This is a cheese grater that she brought from Italy about 80 years ago, and I'm still using it. It smells like 80 years of cheese. How can you go wrong with that? Just put that right on top, and that is it. Italian wedding soup, peasant food, just like an Italian. And you know what? I'm gonna just have to taste this broth because this looks wonderful. Delicioso, so good. This is going to cure everything for you. Everything, every cold, every flu, every broken heart. Italian wedding soup will do it. Okay, we need one more thing to go with the soup. We need an outrageous garlic bread. And that's exactly what it's called, outrageous garlic bread. That's coming up next. Cooking like an Italian. Welcome back to Cook Like an Italian. Okay, we've got our soup on the stove. We're making our poor man's Mexican wedding soup that's looking so good with those meatballs all doused in that chicken broth, and it's the little bit of dill, and it's going to be so, so delicious. But we need the ultimate companion for our Italian wedding soup. So we are making outrageous garlic bread. And I do mean outrageous. That's actually the name of it. And this is one of my very favorites. Not from an Italian. This is from Ina Garten. And this is one of her most popular dishes of all time. Outrageous garlic bread goes with everything, and it goes with anything. So here we go. 12 tablespoons of butter goes into a hot pan. Did I have you at 12 tablespoons of butter, or am I going to have you at one whole head of garlic? Because that's what's going to go in next. So I want to just, there's nothing better than brown butter. So I want to just cook this butter and garlic just to soften the garlic. But I also want to cook it so that I get a little bit of that amber color. Nothing enhances the flavor of food like brown butter. It just is wonderful. So we're just going to let that cook for just a little bit. I'm going to check on my soup in the meantime. That's looking really good. Look at this beautiful soup. The orzo is nice and cooked. The spinach is adding so much flavor. As I mentioned, the Arizona Farm Bureau, where I'm from in Arizona, they do such a tremendous job with leafy greens all year long, including spinach. When the rest of America is frozen over and the ground is too hard to plant or harvest, Arizona is there for you. 300 days of sunshine a year, and we bring up so many great, great greens from our soil all year long. Now this is going to take just a few minutes. In the meantime, I've got my bowl right here, and I'm going to add some goodies to this. I'm going to add some Parmesan cheese, nice grated Parmigiano Reggiano. I've got a little bit of parsley in here. I'm going to add some lemon zest. This is something that Ina Garten loves so much. She loves lemon zest, and so do I. So we're going to add a little bit of lemon zest in there. I'm going to add some salt and some pepper and a little bit of red pepper flakes. Go easy on the red pepper flakes until you taste it, and then decide that you want a little bit more heat. And then I'm going to add Queen Creek Olive Mills roasted garlic olive oil. Oh my goodness, this is This is just going to enhance. It smells like outrageous garlic bread, just like that. Just going to put a little bit of that in there. Okay, now I've got my baguettes cooking, or cut right here, and I slice them lengthwise. Check on this garlic. And then what I'm going to do is use the estate olive oil, and I'm just going to drizzle just a little tiny bit right on the bread. Look at that beautiful golden color. Isn't that lovely? Okay. I'm going to go grab something out of the refrigerator. When I come back, the garlic should be soft enough to mash together with my cheese and lemon zest. We'll be right back. Okay, my garlic has been steeping in 12 tablespoons of butter. Yes, you got that right. You have to have that much to get it nice and soft. And then I put it in a bowl to cool it down, and here it is. The garlic is nice and golden brown. You never want to burn garlic. If you burn garlic, you're going to have to throw it out and start over. And please, please always use fresh garlic. Don't buy the garlic in the jar that's already minced. Promise me that, okay? I'm not sure what that is, but it's not good fresh garlic. Okay, so this is nice and cooled down. I'm gonna add that brown butter and that garlic to all the goodies that I had in the bowl. The lemon zest, the cheese, the salt, pepper, the red pepper flakes. I'm gonna mix this together. Oh my goodness. Just, what can I say? Make my Italian mama so proud. Now that I've got it mixed, I'm going to go in there with a fork and just mash that garlic up a little bit so that every single bite gets a nice, flavorful bite of roasted garlic and butter. My goodness, this looks good. Okay, and there is your magic outrageous mixture. Okay, that is going to go on my garlic bread, or excuse me, on my baguette. I've just drizzled it with a little bit of that really good olive oil, and here we go. We're just going to pack that on to your bread. I've got my oven heated at about 400 degrees. Look at that. Oh my goodness. This garlic bread is a meal in itself. Glass of wine, garlic bread, and you're good to go. But it actually is so wonderful with the soup that we're serving today. It's great with pasta, nice little bowl of spaghetti, and this outrageous garlic bread. I'm going to use every single bit of this. Look at that. Okay, wonderful. This is going to go in the oven just to get nice and golden brown, and I'll be right back. Oh my, guess what's ready right out of the oven? This outrageous garlic bread. Oh. I'll have one and you have one. How's that? Okay. What I'm going to do is just add a little bit more salt on top, just a tad, just to bring out all the flavors. And a little bit, just a tiny bit more cheese. And let's just see what we've got here. Oh, there's that magic sound that should come out of every Italian kitchen. Oh, oh. Oh my goodness. Okay. There is the most amazing garlic bread. You want to cut it in nice big chunks so that when you dive in, you get all of that beautiful flavor. Oh boy, this is cooked perfectly. Again, you know, you want to be careful when you're using garlic. You never want to burn that garlic because then you've completely ruined your dish. Okay, there we go. Look at that. Okay, outrageous garlic bread coming up. let me move this because I am ready for a nice Italian soup, my Italian wedding soup right here. Well, what a great day when you can make a beautiful warm soup from scratch and some outrageous garlic bread. The only thing that's missing from my soup is I need 2 more little meatballs right there. And I'm gonna drizzle it with just a tiny bit more of that gorgeous Queen Creek olive oil. Wonderful. So, very simple. Add what you like, take away what you like, but just know that Italian wedding soup is as comforting food as you can get. The outrageous garlic bread goes with soup, with pasta, or just alone. You'll find these recipes on my website at jandiatri.com. And I'd really love to thank my wonderful sponsors for making this show possible. Queen Creek Olive Mill in Queen Creek, Arizona, 12,000 acre orchard with thousands of trees, and they have everything from estate award-winning olive oil to olives to balsamic to dipping sauces and beautiful gift packages, and also to the Arizona Farm Bureau. We love to cook farm to table, which is what this soup is all about today. And if you go to fillyourplate.org now, you will hear a podcast all about farmers and ranchers and great nutritional tips for you and your family. So we will see you next time when you want to cook like an Italian.